Okay, good morning YouTube, it's Keen again. I have been struggling a lot today because I've been gone for the past few days, I've been busy doing stuff that was pretty fun, but I'm back now. I tried to record a reaction to the direct this morning and it kind of messed up. I kind of didn't have my microphone settings correctly, so I had no audio for that on my end, so it was just basically a one-for-one with the direct and I'm just sitting here mouthing nonsense. So what I'm going to do instead, because re-recording that would kind of suck and it takes all the fun out of it because the reaction's the fun part. What I'm going to do instead is we're going to take the weapon kits that we saw today and we're going to analyze them. I'm going to tell you what I think is good, what I think is bad. Mostly what I think is really strong because I can't really call anything bad at the moment. So I'm going to throw the new song in the background as I talk about all this. I have a list that someone wrote up earlier. Debating if I want to do this list or here. Here you can see all the kits, but I'll do the list. It's easier to work my way down. Okay, this is going to be, an unscripted video. I'm just talking, basically. I've been struggling massively to just even record this in the first place, so bear with me. So to start, the bow has Miss plus Whale. We've seen this since the Tetra footage. It's a kit that seems really good at disrupting, especially slow weapons, I imagine. The bow, when it's fully charged, can one-shot. I believe it does like 105 damage, which isn't the greatest thing, but it has decent range. It can be annoying. You can do verticals, you can do horizontals. It's an interesting weapon. I can't really say how I feel about the kit because I don't have enough experience with the main, but we'll know in a few weeks, as the test fire is coming in about 2.5 weeks. 52 have seen the kit. Wall plus Whale. It's good at taking space, holding space. You can instantly delete people. It's a two-shot shooter. It's flexible, it does a lot of things. Whale's good at disrupting slower things naturally. I think it's going to be a pretty strong kit, not K52 tier of strong, because it loses a lot of survivability because of the special alone, but it'll be good. Junior, Splat Bomb, naturally, it's a junior, of course it's going to have that. Big Bubbler is interesting. Seems like a really strong support special, though I don't know the value of Junior specifically outside of Bomb Spam, Hard Paint, in short range. And having a high output of the special, because I think they made Armor crazy on Junior and 2 is you can kind of just AFK in the corner for a second, or a couple of seconds, and have an effect on the map instantly, but this is more like Big Bubbler, you have to be in a position to set it where it's really, really strong, and I don't think Junior wants to be in a lot of those spots necessarily, so it'll be good, but, I don't think it's, like, as easy to play or as splashable or silly as Junior and 2. Which I think they did something fairly interesting. They combined the curling from the Vanilla Splatoon 2 with the Ultra Stamp. And you're probably sitting there thinking, Ultra Stamp, that's the Splatoon 2 special? Yes. This direct confirmed that certain Splatoon 2 specials are coming back, and this is the first case of it that I'm talking about in this video. Stamp is perfect on Sploosh. It is a short-range shooter. Its effective range for Stamp and effective range on the main weapon are really comparable, so it works perfectly. Losing on a lethal kind of sucks, but you get more not versatility. You get more mobility than you already had with the curling, so you can do cool stuff. You can like roll the curling, kind of swim inside of it, see if you find an opportunity to pop a Stamp, get a pick, that kind of thing. Seems cool, seems fun. Probably a Rainmaker weapon, although Rainmaker is a bit reworked in this game, so can't say that for certainty, but fun kit. Now Splash. Splash I think is one of the massive winners here. It has Burst Bomb. Splash, a main weapon, is incredible. It's a lightweight, perfectly accurate, amazing paint output, very good efficiency. It basically does everything outside of having a little bit of a baby reach, but that's its only real problem. It has Crab. And Crab's kind of like a mid-range crossfire kind of special that you can reposition with. So you could do stuff with Splash, like kind of throw 2 bursts at someone, pop Crab, finish them, that sort of deal. Seems really, really strong. Definitely one of the strongest weapons I think we've seen today. Aerospray is interesting as we are returning Torpedo and Fizzy Bomb. This is a case of our first and only Fizzy weapon I think we know of so far. So Fizzy on Aerospray could be interesting. Its damage values are probably still bad, and it's a baby gun, so it's probably not going to be that strong just because, again, purely the main weapon's very, very weak. But I think the point that I really am unsure about is the special, because the special is new. I believe it's called, what is it? Where is it? Reef Slider. Basically, you ride the shark, you do a Totsugeki, like made straight out of Guilty Gear, and you run in a straight line, and it explodes, and it makes a big hitbox that can kill people. I don't feel particularly strongly about it. I think it's going to depend how it interacts with other specials. It's going to depend, can you pre-fire the person riding on it to kill them really easily? Stuff like that matters. I feel like Aerospray is such a short-range weapon, and Fizzy is like a kind of sub that you have like a startup to it, like you need to shake your controller, whatever, to get the best usage out of it. That doesn't really make sense to have a special that's meant to like run in sort of thing. So I'm kind of whatever on this kit right now. I can't feel a particular way about it. Rockshot, we've known the kit for a while. It's just rounded as Splash Shot always is. Suction Bomb's great on it. It's an all-around shooter. It has Trizuka, which seems like one of the stronger specials still in something like TC. You know, you get 3 shots, but they're all... It's just a very potent special. I can kill from long ranges. I don't know what else to say. It's a very solid weapon. I expect it to be like high tier or worse at launch, honestly. Enzap returns once again with the Suction Bomb with a new special called the Cooler, which is basically you put down like a little mini fridge sort of thing. And anybody on your team who walks by gets buffs. What the buffs entail, I don't fully know, but depending on how good that is, this could be a really meta weapon, potentially. Because combining, you know, a lightweight shooter with an incredibly good lethal bomb, and, you know, we've seen how good Enzap is in 2 throughout its history, so, you know, I expect similar things if the special's useful. It's a pretty strong kit, if the special's right for it. Or we've seen in the Tetra footage, I'm really unimpressed by the sub-weapon on this still, the reworked point sensor, kind of whatever. Crab seems cool. Could work on Pro because high damage main weapon that does like 40 plus on bullets. Could be neat. Kind of whatever on the main though, so eh. 96 we finally get a look at the kit. Once again it has Sprinkler, it's had it for 2 games, make that 3 now. It has Vacuum. Vacuum I can't really tell the value of quite yet because I need to know how it interacts with other things, but I think this kit in particular on this main is really good on flat maps. Like they announced today the return of Mahi Mahi Resort. I could see this being a really good weapon on that map. Similarly to Jet Squelcher, which also has Vacuum here, but it has the point sensor thing. Again, I'm unimpressed by that sub, so nah. I don't feel particularly strong with these weapons. Maybe niche on big maps, that's about it. Conversely to that, Luna, Flat Bomb, Baby Gun, AoE weapon, good on small, short-range maps. Zipcaster's kind of cool. I don't know how to feel about it fully, because Zipcaster has a limited duration. Luna's such a baby gun that if it does it and the opponent runs away from it, I don't know how much it can really do to abuse it. But if you get on top of someone in the right scenario and get like an important kill like that, that's crazy. So I feel like when you pop special with Luna, it's either going to do a lot of stuff or do nothing. But I think it's fun. It's a cool thing to do, but I still want to see a Zipcaster on Range Blaster for sure. So that covers the 12 weapons here. So let's move on to Brella. Brella has Sprinkler again. I'm not a fan, but maybe Sprinkler will get buffed or something. Ink Strike Launcher, it feels like they're trying to recreate V-Brawl in a way, even though Inkstorm is back, and I'll get to that in a moment. If Brella gets its paint unnerfed in a few regards, I could see this being a really good spot zones weapon potentially, because it's a weapon that can stall, you know, 2-shot. Sprinkler's a lot of paint, Ink Strike Launcher's a lot of paint. Could be fun. I'll try it out at launch. We'll be streaming it on Twitch for sure. Undercover has Inkstorm being a returning special. Inkstorm has good synergy with Undercover actually, because Undercover can fight with the shield up on the main weapon. We don't know the sub. The sub is a big deal. I think if you want to make this kit perfect, you give it Burst Bomb. Burst Bomb on Undercover is excellent because if you hit a perfect direct and a perfect shot on Undercover, you can basically one-shot them, and that's really good because this weapon's kill time is bottom tier. So I think they have a perfect opportunity if they give it Burst Bomb to make a really strong and fun to play kit here. So I hope they do that. Tetra has Automon once again with the new Reef Slider. It's an improvement on Splashdown, even if Reef Slider is unimpressive to me so far. You don't put yourself in the air for a full second. At the least, like, you might die because you get pre-fired, but like Splashdown's such a low bar that even if I'm not impressed by Reef Slider, it seems like an improvement, so that's good for Tetra. Splatoon, we finally got a kit. It has Suction, which I never fully got for K-Dooley. K-Dooley was meta at the time in Splatoon 2 because, you know, Baller was good, survivability combined with dodge rolls. Like, it was good for that. Not really because of the Suction necessarily. A Suction's an expensive sub to throw, and you combine it with the main weapon, you have to roll it to get full value out of, like, kind of ink hungry. It has Crab Tank, so it has more long-range crossfire potential, and it has more survival tools, kind of similar to Baller. Probably better at this point because Baller got nerfed so hard. So that's cool. I don't know if it'll be a good weapon, but I think it'll be fun, so that's good. I had a tweet about the next one. Gluga, they straight up gave the K52 kit, which is good. Because K52 is problematic because it's a shooter with basically no downsides. It can kind of shark like a roller, you know, it's basically unreactable, but it can also stall, all that stuff. Gluga's a much better fit balancing-wise because Gluga is a horrible main weapon unless you roll and you're turreting, but that's very reactable. So I think this is an appropriate kit for Gluga that kind of expands on the idea of Gluga Deca having Baller as a survival special in Splatoon 2, so this is a good kit. I like to see this. This is nice. Air Sprayer talked about. We saw the other Air Sprayers Booyah Bomb in the trailer. Can't really tell you without a sub. Kinda hasn't really been relevant too, despite having a strong sub too, because the main weapon's just awful. Rolling down. Platana Wiper is a new weapon. It kind of works. It kind of reminds me of an Octobrush in the way you kind of swipe back and forth to make a short range hitbox, and you can charge to make like a sort of like blade beam projectile kind of deal. It has Torpedo and Ultra Stamp. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about that because a spacing weapon, Torpedo is kind of cool, but it's not an AoE weapon like K-Rapid. Like, I think K-Rapid had a good synergy with Torpedo, but Ultra Stamp is a very close quarters kind of special. This weapon has one-shot potential if you charge it and you're on top of someone, but I don't know if it really wants to play at that range necessarily. I think there's a lot of potential here, but it might end up being a little bit awkward, so I'm unsure how to really totally feel about it. Bot Roller we've known for a while. It has Curling Big Bubbler. That's basically a straight-up improvement on Hero Roller from Splatoon 1. That's awesome to see. Big Bubbler seems to be like one of the better specials, I feel, depending on how it interacts with other specials, so that's really good. I enjoyed playing Roller in 2. Curling Bump's awesome and perfect for it. So having a real special instead of Splash Down, incredible. I can't complain at all. Amidst the returning specials, we have Missile, which I'm not a fan of. I don't want missiles in this game, but we saw Flings with it. We don't know the sub. I don't particularly care for Flings, so it's kind of just a spamming weapon, and giving it Missile again, it's just going to encourage that once more, so meh. Like, if it gets a weak sub, I'm not going to care, honestly. I'm not a Flings fan. Dynamo has Sprinkler plus Cooler, which is a pretty good kit, honestly. It's a very supportive, you know, like heavy paint output kind of weapon. It kind of reminds me of the Splatoon 1 style that it played with. Again, its value is going to depend on if the Cooler special is useful. If it is, that's awesome. You can farm them. Great. If it's not that great of a special, you know, it's a Dynamo with a Sprinkler. What else is there to say, really? Especially with having, like, Whale in this game, Ink Strike Launcher, Zuka, a lot of the specials in this game are kind of anti-Dynamo. Again, this is how it works naturally, so... Well, we'll see how it plays out, but it's a fun kit. Ultra, I think I've talked about, I've praised. It's just a super strong kit. Spot Bomb on a Bucket's really, really good. Triple Ink Strike seems good. It's very splashable. It has 200 costs, which we saw. T-Tech has 200 costs in this as well. But they definitely seem like really strong kits, so that makes sense. I expect to see a decent amount of Bucket day 1, honestly. I think it pairs really well with a lot of things, especially the Splash-O-Matic with Burst Bomb. Those have been an awesome pair in 2. I think it'll, you know, continue in 3 for sure. Hydra has Auto Bomb again, but it gets Booyah Bomb, which is awesome for it. It's a survival special, and it can help its teammates farm special. I think that's pretty much a straight upgrade again. You know, I'm comparing a lot of these kits in 2. It's like, oh, it's X weapon, but with a real special instead of Splashdown. Yes, and that's awesome. That's good. That's great. It gives these weapons a chance to thrive and flourish instead of be hindered by an awful special. Heavy is interesting because it has a new special that we saw today. It's called the Wave Breaker. It has Sprinkler, you know, it's paint, it'll help it farm special, but it's not an amazing sub. At a glance right now, you know, thinking with Sprinkler in mind. Wave Breaker is interesting. It looks really underwhelming at a glance, but I think on holds on certain maps it's going to be really, really, really good. Like they showed it on Wahoo World, I think it's a good example, because it marks people if it hits them, and you basically have to jump over the little, like, circle radius around it, so, you know, it may be underwhelming, like, oh, just, like, jump lol, but it forces a reaction from the opponent, so they can't shark as easily, and if they get clipped, then it's, like, half their health, so I think it looks underwhelming at first, but I think it can be kind of neat, for sure. As for synergy with Sprinkler and Heavy, I don't think there's a ton going on there, but it could be cool. Blue Squelcher also has a special, we don't know the sub, so I can't really tell you too much about that. Octopus we saw in the Turbo footage has Suction Zipcaster, cool kit for it. It's ink hungry, so Suction's a little bit weird to use on it, but Zipcaster on a weapon that's meant to just swing at you in close quarters and delete you, that's cool, it makes sense. Blaster I personally didn't see, but someone else saw, has Auto Bump with Big Bubbler, similar to Custom Boss Turn 2, but no jetpack, just a team support kind of special. Could be neat for similar reasons to Roller, honestly. It's less about killing and more like sustaining and denying an area with your AoE weapon that can one-shot and shark, so kind of neat. Aimbrush has Whale. I think Whale is interesting on that thing. It makes no sense at first, but I think what could make it fun is if you flank into enemy spawn with a Whale equipped, you can sort of crossfire from behind them, because Inkbrush is amazing at just, you know, getting behind people. So I think that could be fun. You sort of have your team, like, shooting at them from the front, and then you're suddenly behind them with Inkbrush, and there's a Whale going off in the other direction. It's just really overwhelming. It could be confusing. On the right maps, I think that could be good. Rapid, we don't know the special, but that's Triple Ink Strike. Yeah, I can't really comment too much, there's no sub to really speak of here, but Ink Strike Launcher looks pretty good. And, you know, Rapid being an AoE weapon, forcing people to move, combined with that, and a special that makes people move is pretty cool. But yeah, that's what seems to be every kit we saw today. That's my initial thoughts and impressions on it. I'm glad I could finally record this video after I meant struggling for forever because I was very tired this morning and sleep deprived and I didn't realize my microphone settings were wrong, so hopefully this went through. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be streaming the test fire in 2.5 weeks. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll do some stuff. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time.